Welcome to the Nightly 5 podcast with Ben O'Shea.
See, this is what happens in life, Brett. And I've done it too. I've done really stupid things. But you did a really stupid thing.
I didn't think it was stupid at the time.
No, it's pretty stupid.
It was dumb.
That, of course, was former President Donald Trump when he was a reality TV star on The Apprentice, which also happens to be the name of a new movie about the controversial businessman, which premiered in Cannes overnight. And it's fair to say the movie has ruffled some feathers. And by feathers, I mean a weird reddish comb-over. Joining me now to unpack it all is culture editor at The Nightly, Wenley Ma. Wenley, what can you tell us about this new Trump movie from director Ali Abbasi?
Yeah, it's a movie that's been in the works for a while, and it's been one of those movies that I think everyone going into Cannes Film Festival was highly anticipating. How was it going to come out? Was it going to be like a satirical comedy? Was it going to be a eviscerating drama? I think it lands somewhere in the middle because Donald Trump, as we know, is a very big personality. No matter what you think of his politics, I don't think you can deny that he certainly has, I guess the word is presence. So this movie actually captures his days in the 1970s and 1980s when he was still a young man coming up in the business world of New York City. And it is about his, well, I guess he was a mentee of a very well-known firebrand conservative lawyer who was actually quite involved in the Joseph McCarthy trials in the US in the 1950s, Roy Cohn, who has since died. He was a very big personality as well, and he was known as someone who wasn't very compromising. And it's been well documented that Donald Trump and, you know, the kind of positions he holds now and the personalities and his approaches to things was very influenced by his association with Roy Cohn. So you've got Sebastian Stan, who is probably best known for playing Bucky Barnes in Marvel movies. He's playing the young Donald. Got Maria Bakalova, who was in Borat, Oscar nominated for Borat, playing Ivana Trump, and Jeremy Strong from Succession playing Roy Cohn. So it's it got a standing ovation, as almost everything does at Cannes, anywhere between 8 to 11 minutes, conflicting reports. Kate Blanchett was in the audience apparently, and she leapt to her feet, one of the first people, and like hugged Maria Bakalova because she was sat right in front of her. And since then, you know, not surprisingly, you know, people are either, well, they're definitely paying attention, but it's not surprising that it upset some people.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Sebastian Stan, I wouldn't have thought he was my first choice to be Donald Trump, but looking at some of the stills that have emerged today, I tell you, it's pretty uncanny. Just in the same way I thought he was a fantastic Tommy Lee as well, sort of transformational seems to be Sebastian Stan's vibe. And so you talk about it being polarising. It has generated a little bit of controversy from this screening overnight. What scenes do people seem to be talking about?
Yeah, so from reports within the theatre from industry rag trades like, you know, Hollywood Reporter and Variety, seems like audience members audibly gasped at certain scenes towards the end of the film. One depicted a rape between the on-screen version, the character of Donald Trump in the film against Ivana Trump. In real life, Ivana Trump did make those allegations against Donald Trump in a 1989 divorce proceedings, but she later retracted those claims in 2015 and then she died in 2022. There were also scenes of Donald getting liposuction, which also kind of shocked audiences in the moment. There were a lot of scenes that I don't think puts him in the best light. You know, he's getting hair plugs, he's taking amphetamines for weight loss. You know, he's doing deals with underworld figures to push property deals through. And it's funny because one of the financial backers of the movie is a man named Dan Snyder, who is a big Trump supporter. He's a billionaire. And according to Variety, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes shenanigans where Dan Snyder is very upset because he thought that it would be a flattering portrait of Trump, and it really isn't.
That itself is bizarre. Well, the Trump campaign certainly don't think it's flattering. Their chief spokesperson, Stephen Chung, has said in a statement to one of those big entertainment Bibles, Variety, they said that we will be filing a lawsuit to address the blatantly false assertions from these pretend filmmakers. I don't know if you can call them pretend filmmakers. Ali Abbasi has won prizes at Cannes in the past. Pretty acclaimed filmmaker. They've gone on to say this garbage is pure fiction, which sensationalizes lies that have been long debunked. So there we go. It's going to be interesting. What are the critics saying after the screening? Do they say it's any good?
It's a bit of a mixed reaction. I've seen some reviews that really praise, especially Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong and Maria Bakalova's performances in the movie. And other critics have pointed out it's really difficult to sort of capture the essence and the inner workings and the interiority of a man who has spent decades performing in public with, an impression that I think, is so indelible in the public mind. So I think it's a bit of a mixed reaction. It'll be interesting to see for ourselves when it finally comes out, if it ever comes out. Personally, I think Trump's got enough legal problems without adding another lawsuit.
Yeah, indeed. And so talking about when it might come out, so the film has kind of been funded through sort of non-traditional studio sources. And so as a consequence of that, the distribution is a bit up in the air. Do we have any idea at all of when we might get to see this in Australia?
Not sure. I have made some calls to find out who might have picked up the distribution rights in Australia. No one's owned up to it yet. It certainly does not have distribution in the US. And apart from Dan Snyder, it seems like most of the funding has actually come from outside of America. So a couple of production companies in the UK and in Sweden, and some national film funding bodies in Canada, Denmark, and I can't remember what the last one was, but not the US. Oh, Ireland it was.
Yeah, right. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But certainly with this publicity, I think it makes it more likely than not that someone will step up if they're willing to take a bit of legal risk, perhaps. Culture editor at The Nightly, Wenley Ma, always great to have you on the show.
Thank you.